Good morning. This is Pete's podcast number 3. And this is Peter Liciaga. Fatherhood. As I look back over my years of being a dad, I have seen the best of me and the worst. Becoming a father has helped me become a better man. I have found that by embracing the opportunity to be a dad has challenged me to improve all areas of my life. The physical, the emotional, the social, and the spiritual. I eventually found that a man can better reach the ideal manhood in the context of a marriage and family. In this podcast, I want to share some of my thoughts in being a dad. I also want to elicit thoughts and ideas from other dads. Now, with that being said, I would like to begin by saying that I have made many mistakes as a father, and it has taken me decades to reconcile myself to the reality of my humanness. Now, before I go into my thoughts of being a dad, let me read something from one of the books in my library that has helped me appreciate the struggle between the good I want to do and the bad that I do not want to do. For this struggle is real and it's never ending. Let me go to the book. A human is not one thing among others. Things determine each other, but man is ultimately self-determining. What he becomes within the limits of endowment and environment, he has made out of himself. In the Nazi concentration camps, for example, in this living laboratory and on this testing ground, we watched and witnessed some of our comrades behave like swine, while others behaved like saints. Man has both the potentialities within himself. Which one is actualized depends on decisions, but not on conditions. Our generation is realistic, for we have come to know man as he really is. After all, man is that being who invented the gas chambers of Auschwitz. However, he is also that being who entered those gas chambers upright with the Lord's Prayer or the Shema Israel on his lips. These words are taken from the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, an Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist, as well as a Holocaust survivor. The thought that man has both potentialities within himself, and we see this over and over again in extreme display in history, that potentiality of extreme goodness and sacrifice, and the extreme evil and destruction, whether that good or evil is actualized in the minds of men, it is not based on conditions, but on decisions. This idea applies to everything that we choose to do or not do, and everything that we choose to become or not become. As a father, I choose not to be a swine. I choose to do what is right at all costs. I choose to be disciplined and let my actions teach and my words give understanding. I choose to embrace life and live it full out. I choose to do all that I can to lead, inspire, encourage, and motivate my children to live with the same intentions. Now, with that said, let me go to a book from a great friend of mine. His name is Dave Kovar. Now, from the book, I want to read what is written about Dave. A good friend of mine. I've known him, I was first introduced to Dave in 1999, early 2000, when I became an instructor at Donato Karate Center. When I came on board as an instructor, full-time instructor at Donato Karate Center, Michael Donato gave me a book about being an instructor and gave me videotapes to watch what it is, how it's like to teach martial arts to kids. And on that videotape was Dave Kovar. And I was introduced to him as an instructor, teaching martial arts to kids, and it really opened up my mind on how to teach children martial arts. And so let me read who Dave Kovar is. Now, this book was given to me by Dave Kovar, and a great friend, given to me in 2011. And I got together with him at a martial arts instructors workshop seminar. And he writes in the book and said, "Thanks, Pete, for the friendship." And it's dated in May 21st, 2011. And I had a lot of fun. It was enjoyable. I've met with him several times since then. And I did purchase, once he gave me the book, and I read it, I loved it. Then for this podcast, I purchased 10 books. And right here. So if you want a copy, let me know. I'll give it to you for free. Just my gift to you. And I believe all dads should have this. Very simple, very easy book to read. And I very much enjoyed it. But let me go ahead and read about Dave Kovar. I think it's pretty cool. Great guy. Dave Kovar, a father of two, is known in the martial arts world as the teacher's teacher. Since 1978, Dave has inspired people not only to look and feel better, but to be better. He has helped over 25,000 students of all ages develop their character and fitness through martial arts instruction through his Kovar Satori Academy of Martial Arts Schools and the hundreds of martial arts schools with which he is consulting. And in addition to positively impacting his students' physical fitness, Dave has used martial arts as a vehicle to help strengthen his students' mental focus. Over the years, he has carefully developed a system that helps his students apply the mental aspects of martial arts to excel in many areas of their lives. The Martial Arts Industry Association presented Dave with its 2010 Lifetime Achievement Award in recognition for his teaching abilities. This prestigious award has also been won by Chuck Norris and other martial arts luminaries. In 1992, the United States Martial Arts Association honored Dave as its Martial Arts Instructor of the Year. And I'm going to jump ahead to the end part here about Dave's dad. Dave's parenting philosophy was forged during his childhood by his parents, whom Dave describes as sweet, kind, and firm. His father, Leonard, is a psychologist and a minister who had been a POW during World War II. Dave's mother, Lorraine, worked as an educator who was later in charge of the Head Start program for a large public school system in Northern California. After surviving unspeakable torment as a prisoner of war, Dave's father grew from that experience to become successful and highly sought after in his field. This meant that Dave, along with his siblings, Cindy and Tim, moved several times with their parents to such culturally diverse cities as Boston, Bozeman, Montana, before settling in Sacramento prior to Dave's teen years. The experience of moving frequently made Dave acutely aware of the difficulties a child faces, including bullying when he or she is the new kid in school. A dad's toolbox for better parenting, Dave articulates effective strategies for parents to use to address these things. Now, I chuckle a little bit there because reading for me out loud and reading from there is a challenge for me, so I do hope you guys accept my apologies for that. But I wanted to read from here, because it really gives you an idea of Dave Kovar, his background from with his parents, and gives you pretty much of a framework of his mindset, and gives you a little bit some insight into his why he does what he does, because he's just an incredible instructor, incredible man, and I've been blessed to meet him several times and train with him, and it's pretty awesome. And you can find him on the web. You Google his name, Dave Kovar, and I definitely encourage you to Google him and go to YouTube and go ahead and search for him and his black belt testing. He actually shared his test for 7th degree and his 8th degree. And it's pretty awesome to see what he does to share his passion for martial arts. And you'll hopefully see why he is considered the teacher's teacher. And many people don't hear of him unless you're deep in the martial arts and you are deep in teaching and learning how to teach martial arts. And you would not know who he is. But it's a great book. So what I want to do is go through the book briefly, and just give you some of my thoughts of being a parent and being a dad, and just to encourage some dads out there, but to more importantly just share what I've learned, a little bit of what I've learned, and to again to encourage you to share what you've learned, dads that are out there. And I love the fact that I'm meeting so many dads that really go deep into to being a dad, to spending time with their children, to being disciplined, but more importantly, to being sensitive, to being loving, to being caring, to expressing themselves in an emotional way, but with strength and with this sense of what it is to be a man beyond the strength, but to be a man with emotion, with feelings, with empathy. And so let me, I want to go ahead and share just one more, read one more thing. In this first section, he talks about being brave. Who is a brave person? And I wanted to read a little bit about that because I think it's pretty cool, because it does, I know when I decided, I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm not going to go into the mistakes. You can ask me if you want to ask me some of the mistakes that I've made. I'd love to share that. But just for the sake of the privacy of my family, I'm not going to share the details. Now, if you do ask me specifically and directly, I'll answer the question, because I'm all for being transparent and honest. But I've learned over the decades to be very discerning about what I share, not so much for myself, but more for my family. But when I decided to become, very serious about being this dad, to recognizing that I'm not perfect, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, I knew that as I moved forward, I had to have courage, I had to be brave. And so I wanted to read this section here to you, who is a brave person, and share with you what Dave shares here. And in the book says this: the most important role you will ever have is that of a dad. Parenting can be extremely rewarding, but it's extremely challenging as well. Just when you think you have it figured out, something happens, and it's back to the drawing board. And it's one thing that I really totally relate to, because there are days when I'm like on point, I'm right there, I'm saying the right things, doing the right thing, and then before you know it, I put my foot in my mouth, I say something really, really stupid, and it could be hurtful. And all of a sudden I realize again that I'm reminded of the fact that I've got so much to learn on being a dad. And so it gets scary at times. I know you dads can relate to that. And so back to the book, it says here, Dave says here, to me, being afraid means that certain things are to be taken seriously. Now he also adds a quote from Ben Zoma. And the quote says this: who is a brave person? And Zoma describes a brave person as this: a brave person is someone who is smart enough to be afraid, but does whatever needs to be done anyway. I think those are great words. So back to the book over here. It says, fatherhood is a real responsibility. Like it or not, we're responsible for helping to shape our child's life. And we should not take this lightly. Sow a thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. And this quote is taken from Ralph Waldo Emerson, is one of his favorite quotes. And he opens up this book and shares in this book, things that he's learned over the years, being a dad and being an instructor. And when he wrote this book, he had his kids were tweens and teens. And I know when I met him, he had his daughter with him, and she was traveling with him at the time. And it was pretty cool to see him and his daughter work together. Now, my daughter works with me teaching martial arts, and it's very exciting. It was inspiring. I was inspired, of course, by Dave Kovar to do that. And when my daughter was ready, I brought her on board to work alongside me. And to my surprise, she really loves teaching and has a gift and a talent for it. And she definitely wants to do this as she moves forward into her future. So it's very exciting to see her work with the young people and share the knowledge. And she's incredible with that. So it's awesome to work together with my daughter and to see her blossom and see her just really be this, mature into this young adult. And I'm looking forward to see her continue to grow in that. It's exciting. But Dave Kovar does share quite a bit of things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the table of contents and just quickly share with you the things that you will get out of this book. And it's very easy reading. And it's only, it's only about, it's about 160 pages here. Was it 180 pages? Very easy reading, and which is a good thing because, if you're like me, now I've embraced reading more now these days at 56 years old than ever in my life. And those of you that have gotten to know me know that my education, my formal education, was very limited, but my life has taught me to embrace knowledge. And these days I'm embracing books and reading, and I'm soaking in books. And currently I'm reading like 3 books, and I'm learning so much from them. I'm just like eating them up, and I just can't get enough of it. So if you have books that you're reading you'd like to share with me, let me know. I'd love to see if you're into reading and what kind of books you read. I really enjoy books that are autobiographical, or at least books that talk about real life. And I've always loved stories of real life. And I remember years ago, 2 times over my life, I've had mentors say to me that, Peter, you have a great way of taking something that you've read and seeing how it fits in a practical and executionable way to life. And so I like to read books that really I can look and read and then take and see how it fits into my life. How can I practically apply that? So let me go through the table of contents very quickly. And of course, get the book. You can get it on Amazon. I'll give a share link on my website. But if you want this book, A Dad's Toolbox for Better Parenting by Dave Kovar, let me know. Private message me. Or you can email me at peterliciaga@gmail.com and tell me that you want the book for free. I'll send it to you. I'll cover the costs for postage and all that. And just email me your name and your address where you want me to send the book to, and I'll send it to you. I have 10 copies. I purchased 10. And I just think it's important. I want to give that to you. This is my way of just sharing this knowledge and just giving you guys a book that I think is extremely valuable to dads. And so let me know if you want that. Again, email me at peterliciaga@gmail.com. And of course, if you email me late, I don't have them. I only have 10 copies, and I'll send them to you. I'll pay for it's totally free to you, so I'm not asking for any money from you guys there, so don't worry about any of that. I'll totally give it to you for free. So let me go through the contents of this table of contents very quickly to give you an idea of what he covers on this. Now, there's sections. There are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections here. And the sections are parenting basics. That's section 1. The next section is the health puzzle. And then section 3 says family safety principles. Talks about the principles of safety in section 3. Section 4, and he talks about why martial arts. And for me, I relate to that very much, and I have my why of martial arts, and he shares his why training martial arts. Section 5 talks about school success tips. And then section 6 talks about success in extracurricular activities. So in section 1, parenting basics, let me just really go through these guidelines. He calls them guidelines. There are 15 guidelines. The first guideline is praise in public, but reprimand in private. Guideline number 2 is believe in your child's potential. So he talks about that. Guideline 3 talks about walking your talk. Guideline 4, constantly catch your child doing things right. And guideline 5, set boundaries and stick to them. Guideline 6, listen. And guideline 7, hold your child to a high standard. Guideline 8, inspire your child to greatness. Guideline 9, choose your battles. Guideline 10, be easily in awe. Guideline 11, give your child choices, not ultimatums. Guideline 12, never compare. And guideline 13, maintain rigid flexibility. And guideline 14, don't speak out of anger. And lastly, guideline 15, make sure your child knows that you love them unconditionally. So those are the guidelines in section 1, parenting basics. And we actually teach this to our instructors at Donato Karate Center. And all these things that I've just listed, we teach our instructors how to apply these principles, these concepts, these ideas as instructors, so that we can better teach our students. And then, so we do that. And all this takes discipline. And that's why I'll speak a lot about discipline. I challenge myself to be disciplined, do the right thing whether I feel like it or not, which is what we teach our children. Discipline, number one thing is discipline. You get discipline, embrace discipline whether you feel like it or not. It empowers you. You can do this. And many people telling me that, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to change this, I want to change that. And I just simply say, do it. They look at me like I'm crazy because I make it sound so simple, but it is. It's extremely simple. It's easy. Just do it, okay? It just takes discipline, okay? And it's easy in the sense that when you make the decision to do it, the choice to do it, that's it. You have a compelling reason why, which is extremely important, then that will empower you to say yes to what you need to do and be disciplined. Okay. Sections, the other sections have the little guidelines as well, principles, but we'll leave that at that. That's the table of contents. I highly recommend you get this book. I have 10 that I'll give away to you guys. Just let me know. Again, email me at peterliciaga@gmail, and I'll send you this book. But make sure you email me your address. You don't have to email me your phone number. I'm not going to call you. And I will only reply to your email saying I got your email and I'm sending your book. Or if we run out of the books, I only have 10, I will send you an email saying, hey, I appreciate you reaching out to me, but you were too late. books are gone. Okay, so email me as soon as possible. Okay, so that's those are the guidelines and the table of contents from that. So my number one thought as being a dad, let me share that very quickly with you. My thought of being a dad, it's easy. Discipline. Got to be disciplined. And I get up early simply because you guys know, those of you that are following me know that I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I run, or sometimes I walk. I do a run walk early in the morning, first thing I do in the morning, or run or walk or run. Sometimes it's just a walk. Depends on how beat up my body is from my martial arts training or how I'm feeling. No matter what, I'm going to get out in the morning and seize the day and get outside, get out of bed, and get outside, get out. And I do that for a specific reason, simply because, if I stay in bed, if I don't get up, for me, this is me, and I'm talking for myself, then my head is not right. When I get up early and I get outside, I literally go out my door. No matter what the weather is, I go out my door. It's a victory for me. I breathe in, and I start walking. I get my oxygen. I do my breathing as I'm walking, and more often than not, I'll listen to a podcast, audio, whether it's a current podcast that I'm listening to. If you want to find out what I'm listening to these days, just ask. But I start walking and I listen, I breathe, I take in the air, and it really equips my mind, prepares my mind for the day. And I have this sense of victory. And I start my day off victorious, and I love that. And I'll walk or run, walk for 3 miles. And sometimes it takes me an hour, sometimes it takes me a half hour or less, but I get out and I do that, and that's what I do. And it takes discipline. And then in the course of my day, I maintain that discipline and get things done. I get meet with my kids and I see how they're feeling. They get up. My daughter gets up around between 4:30 and 5:30 to get ready for school. My son gets up about 5:30ish to get ready for school and have breakfast. And they do what they do. They have their morning rituals, and I'm there. I want to be awake. I want to be there for them, alert, and being sensitive to see how they feel. So that's my first thing in the morning. After I do my walk, I want to be alert and see how they're feeling. And if they are not feeling up to par, maybe they're feeling a little tired, or I get a sense that maybe they need an encouraging word, I'll do that. And I just want to let them know I'm there for them. And I want to be up first, alert, awake, and ready to inspire, motivate, and encourage them so they can get on with their day. So once they leave the house, my discipline has me going into my journal, and I start my journal, and then I look at what I have to do for the day, and then I go through my day. My wife then will wake up, she'll start her day, I'll spend my moments with her, and we'll chat, and her day is full, and she gets on her move, and she does her morning ritual, and my day begins, and it's my discipline that drives me through the day, being the man that I strive to become, and that is more disciplined and more equipped to deal with the ups and downs of life. And if there's an obstacle that gets in my way, I embrace it, and I adjust, I adapt, and I do what I need to do to overcome it, but I move on, I press on. So as a dad, and the one thing that I've learned to be a great dad, to be a great husband, to be the best that I can be, is discipline. Discipline, for me, empowers me and gives me the freedom to do whatever I prefer to do, which is the right thing. And I know if you ask me how old I am, more often than not, I will say I am 44 years to 100. And I do have a countdown. I have a daily countdown. If you look in my journal, I have a number on the top corner of my journal, and that number is how many days I have left to my 100th birthday. Today it's 16,034 days left. So every day I remind myself that I have X amount of days left to live and to become the man that I'm striving to become. And I'm creating a legacy. I'm creating a story that I want my great-great-grandchildren to tell. I want my son and my daughter to tell this story about their dad to their children. And I want my grandchildren to tell this story. And I have 16,000, as of this podcast, 16,034 days to continue to tell this story. And that's my legacy. And that's important to me. And so it takes discipline. And I want to not to show perfection, but mostly show that I'm human, that I have ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I strive to do the right thing. And that's my choice. And like Viktor Frankl learned in the concentration camp, that we have that choice, the power of choice. And many years ago, I read a book that really changed the way I thought. It was one of those many books. And the title of the book was this: The One Thing That God Cannot Do. And I'm thinking, one thing, God can do everything. There's nothing that God can't do. And in the book, it was this: choice. God cannot choose for me. I make the choice. No matter what situation I'm in, no matter what obstacle I am confronted with, the ups and downs of life, the path that is presented in front of me, that food, that donut that I'm going to eat or not is based on me. I have the power of choice. So I want to leave you dads out there with this thought. Choose to be disciplined and choose to surround yourself with people that strive to be disciplined, to do the right thing, whether they feel like it or not. Okay, so in closing, guys, I just want to encourage you guys to support the work that's happening in your community, around you. There are people doing incredible things around you in your world and in your community, and support them. Find out who they are, support them. And there are dads out there. I know you guys are doing incredible. I'm out there. We're on the battlefield together. We are on the front line of being a dad. And I want to support you guys. And one way I want to do is just encourage you with podcasts like this, with a book like here. If you want the book, let me know. peterliciaga@gmail.com. Let me know right there. Send it to you. I have 10 copies. And if I run out, I'll give you a link so that you can purchase your own. And share the work, okay? Share the work that's going on your social networks. Those of you that are on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, no matter where you are, if you have an email and you believe that a friend of yours could benefit from the work that's being done in your community, from this podcast, share it with them. Share them the links. And please let them know on that. And also, I highly encourage you to join a martial arts program. I know I'm biased, but I've been doing martial arts for a long time, and I've been deep, full-on, full-time, 100% in martial arts for almost 20 years now. I started when I was 9. I started my journey 47 years ago, and I've been deep, full-on, teaching martial arts, living full-on, deep as a martial artist, being black belt strong for almost 20 years. And I encourage all men, everyone should be doing martial arts, but especially dads. Martial arts trains you to think like a warrior, not so much for the physical confrontation, even though it's very physical. However, it teaches you how to think like a warrior. It helps that. It's the only environment by design trains up warriors, trains up leaders. And I highly encourage you to train in a martial arts program. Of course, if you live in Mount Laurel, many martial arts programs, great instructors in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. You know, start with my school, the school that I teach at, simply because I'm there. And of course, I'm going to encourage you to come to where I am at Donato Karate Center. Please seek that out, go there. And if you come meet me, you come to our school and it's not right for you, maybe you want something different, I have other schools that I could definitely refer to you that are in Mount Laurel or where you live. Okay, and so the next thing you can do, to support the work is to get healthy, to get fit, to go to a gym, and to build your mind, build your body, get fit so that you can be fit to be there for your kids, to help your children out, to help your wife out, to help your loved ones out, to be alert, to be prepared, because ready or not, you're going to be called to move into a position to help, to support. And as men, as a dad, as father in your household, we are called to be in a position to help out. We are the first line of defense. And that's what I choose to be. I am the first line of defense in my household. And I want to be equipped for that. Every day is going to have its challenges. You're going to have your battles every day. Be equipped. So get fit. Go to a gym. Start an exercise program. As simple as doing maybe 5 minutes a day. Maybe simply just stopping, doing 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats, and then start there. Going out, starting to walk, maybe a 5-minute walk. Do something. Get out. Get fit, and make it an everyday journey. And I want to encourage you guys to get up early so that you're up before your family. This way you're alert and you're there and equipped for them. I know some of you are getting up early already for your jobs. Outstanding. I think that's excellent. I think that's awesome. I support that. Embrace it. Don't complain about it, and embrace it. Be excited about it, because you are being forced to do what you're called to do, to be that leader in your household. So get fit, get healthy, and trust me, if you, let's say for instance, if you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready for work, get up at 4:30 so that you can get in 15 minutes of exercise, get showered up and get equipped, and get your head ready, and then start your day. If you have to get up at 4:30, then get up at 4 o'clock. Whatever it is, get up early. It will pay off. Yes, it takes discipline. Is it hard? Who cares? You just got to get harder, get tougher. Okay, guys. So I want to encourage you to do that. That's for me. Part of supporting the work, supporting your family, supporting the community. Okay, and of course, share your journey. I encourage everyone to share your journey, to live your life out loud. Now, be responsible about it. Do not share anything that you're not comfortable sharing, but share with others what you're doing to be that person you want to be that man you want to be, Now, if we have some women out there listening, to be that person you want to be. Okay, share that journey. Why? Because you inspire others, you encourage others to do the same, and it lets people know that you're human. Okay, we're not perfect. We all, deal with this humanness. We deal with what Frankl talks about. Doing that good and evil is a constant, never-ending battle. We have to choose the right thing to do. And that takes discipline as a choice. Share that. Share your journey. Share what you're doing. I do it. I live my life out loud simply because of that. I want people to be encouraged. But it's also, for me, it's a way of holding me accountable to do the right thing. I know that my students are watching me. I know my kids are watching me. I know my wife watches me. I know my friends watch me when I train in martial arts. As I'm a 6th degree master instructor in Tang Soo Do at Donata Karate Center. People see me as a master instructor. They're going to look and watch me. That just goes with the territory. And it goes with the fact that when people watch me train, they're going to say, okay, what's he going to do? How is he going to deal with being uncomfortable? And I love that. And, I get beaten up all the time, especially in jiu-jitsu. I get beaten up. I'll get guys on me that beat me up. Sometimes it's a female that's great in jiu-jitsu and has more technique. She has more skills than me, and she'll tap me out, and I get beaten up. But I want people to know that I'm on the mats. I'm getting on the mats, getting beating up, and I want them to know that I'm putting myself in an uncomfortable situation, because I've learned the lesson that I need to be able to think clearly and function in very, very bad situations. And I want my wife to know that I'm equipped. When things go really, really bad in our household, then I am equipped and trained, and I will be one of the people that will help us get through it. And so that inspires people. So share that. And then lastly, let me know what I can do to help you. And I'm here to help. I'm here to do what I can to serve you and to inspire you, encourage you, motivate you, to give you that tap on the shoulder, to give you that nudge. And some of you, if you need it, I'll give you that kick in the pants. And that quote unquote that I get from my buddies, and they've said it to me, Pete, it's time for me to give you a kick in the ass so you can get up and do what you got to do. And I've given them the permission to do that. So if you give me the permission to do that to you, I could do that to you. But let me know how I can help. Okay. So with that, all that said, until next time, have a great day.